You've written several scripts before, but was there any special reason for you to write this one, to write Rocky?
Well, I felt at the time that cinema, at least the movies I had been seeing, were at an all-time low. Everything was anti-society, anti-Christ, anti-government, anti-everything, and there was no one to root for. And I also feel that films are very cyclic, so I wanted to get back into the cycle of the films of the 40s and the 50s, where people say, hey, gee, I missed the good old films, yet Hollywood hasn't taken heed and hasn't made any good old-fashioned type films where morality was at the forefront. So I took the opportunity to write this particular film, of course, being somewhat selfish because I had myself in mind for it. But that was the main motivation.
But it was fairly presumptuous of you, wasn't it, to expect to be able to star in it, because your career up to then had been small parts, right?
Yeah, that's kind of you to even say small. Yeah, they were, I was mostly what is known as atmosphere, always in the background, or the guy that was being, the drunk that was being stepped over in the gutter, and other lame roles. But I felt that, geez, if I was going to go down, at least into professional obscurity, I wanted to at least have the opportunity to say to myself, well, you tried. You put your best foot forward, and you didn't make it. So that's what, I guess you might say, provoked me into writing the script, because it wasn't something that I had given a lot of thought to. I just knew that I had to do it one time, and it was innate. Now, the thing was, what was the proper vehicle? I surely couldn't pass myself off, at least as a lawyer in a three-piece suit. I just don't think I have that kind of appeal, or whatever it is. So I wanted to take it much more basic, a man from the street. All right, what kind of a man? An underdog, and that being a professional fighter, I think, has that connotation to it.
But, you know, when these big wheeler dealers got hold of your script and they were told that Sylvester Stallone wanted to star in it, they must have said, who?
Right, or what?
Or what, yes.
Yeah.
How did you sell yourself to them?
Usually it's the old syndrome of knocking on the windows, pestering them, pressing my face in the door, honking their horn in the driveway. In other words, making a real pain in the neck out of myself. And slowly they began to see, well, perhaps he's got something. They first showed it to Jimmy Caan, and then Burt Reynolds and Ryan O'Neal and Gene Hackman and Robert Redford, and they showed it to all these people. But I kept saying, I work a lot cheaper and a lot harder and for a lot longer. And also I think that they were taken up with kind of like the pioneer spirit of it. It wasn't going to, it's a small movie. It was made for like 1/10 or 1/15 of what they pay, say, a James Bond movie or a Pink Panther.
It cost about $1 million, in fact.
Well, it came in at $960,000, which is what a good toothpaste commercial cost in the United States, really. So they didn't have that much to lose, but more than that, they really felt that this was kind of like a special movie that would appeal to the masses. And it's the kind of film that hadn't been done in quite a while, where there wasn't any cursing, yet you didn't miss the cursing and that type.
But after all, when you first went along with your script, I mean, they liked the script, but they were so desperate not to have you that they kept offering you increasingly large sums of money to go away, didn't they?
Right, it went up to about $265,000.
Not to appear in the film.
Right, to stay away, to get off my lawn, boy. But what they didn't count on is, when a person hasn't had that type of money, you really don't miss it. In other words, if you haven't ridden in a Rolls Royce, you don't mind bouncing around in a Volkswagen. You don't have that frame of reference. But more than that, I knew that if I sold it, even for $500,000, I knew that after the money was gone, I would become very bitter for having sold out, because my one love was to at least fail on my own terms. I wanted to see if I could act, because all these bit parts that you're talking about, you really couldn't say this kid had talent or he was just a big fake. So they were caught up in kind of like the enthusiasm. Jeez, oh my God, well, why not? All right, we'll give him a chance, and they put a lot of clauses in the contract, like if I fell in love with my leading man, or if, you know, if I curse a nun, or if I don't brush my teeth, or whatever, I could be removed from the script after production after 5 to 10 days. But all that aside, I really think that they just wanted to get rid of me. And they said, well, let's put him in a movie. That'll get rid of him for 2 months. You know, that kind of thing.